You are choosing poverty right now and you do not even realize it. Every single purchase you made this week, every subscription you renewed without thinking, every small reward you gave yourself, they are all stealing from a version of you that does not exist yet. And here is what makes this dangerous. It feels completely rational in the moment. Think about the last thing you bought that you did not absolutely need. Maybe it was a coffee, maybe it was a streaming service, maybe it was something delivered to your door that you will barely remember in 3 days. You told yourself it was fine, you told yourself it was small, you told yourself you deserved it, and you were wrong on all 3 counts, but not for the reason you think. The problem is not the money, the problem is what that money was supposed to become. Right now you are thinking this is about budgeting. It is not. You are thinking this is about discipline or delayed gratification or some tired advice you have heard. Before, it is not that either. What this is about is a transfer of wealth so gradual and so invisible that most people never see it happening until it is far too late to reverse. And the worst part, the system is designed to make you feel smart while it happens. Let me show you what I mean. Take someone who spends $15 a day on small conveniences. Coffee, lunch, a ride instead of walking, something small from a store. $15, that is nothing, right? That is barely noticeable. That is permission you give yourself because you work hard and life is short, and why should you deny yourself something so small? Here is what you are actually doing. You are taking $105 a week and making it disappear, not spending it, disappearing it, because spending implies you got something in return. But what you got was a feeling that lasted maybe 20 minutes, and what you lost was $540 a month that could have compounded into something unrecognizable. But I am getting ahead of myself. You do not believe me yet. You are still thinking $15 does not matter. You are still thinking I am going to tell you to stop enjoying life. You are still thinking this is another lecture about skipping coffee to become a millionaire. It is not, because the coffee is not the problem, the coffee is a symptom, and the disease is something nobody ever explains correctly. Let me ask you something. Do you know what opportunity cost actually means? Not the textbook definition, the real one. The one that changes how you see every decision you make. Most people think opportunity cost is what you give up when you choose something. That is close, but it misses the entire point. Opportunity cost is not what you lose, it is what you prevent from existing. It is the future that never happens because you made a choice in the present. It is the invisible graveyard of all the things your money could have become. When you spend $15 today, you are not losing $15. You are losing what $15 becomes in 10 years. And what it becomes is not $15, it is closer to 40. Maybe 50 if you know what you are doing, maybe more if you understand the game. But you are not playing the game, you are being played by it. And here is where it gets interesting. The people who understand this, the people who are actually building wealth, they see money completely differently than you do. They do not see $15, they see a seed, they see a small piece of future freedom, they see leverage. And when they spend it, they feel physical pain because they know exactly what they just killed. You do not feel that pain, and that is why you are losing. Now you might be thinking this sounds extreme. You might be thinking I am exaggerating. You might be thinking that $15 a day is not enough to matter. Let me show you exactly how wrong that is. $540 month invested at a conservative 8% annual return. In 10 years, that is not $64,000. It is closer to $98,000. In 20 years, it is not $128,000. It is over $300,000. In 30 years, it is not $192,000. It is almost $800,000. You just erased $800,000 for coffee and convenience, for feelings that did not last, for things you cannot even remember buying, and you did it willingly, happily, because nobody ever showed you what you were actually trading. But here is the part that should terrify you. That is just one habit. One $15 a day habit. How many of those do you have? How many subscriptions are pulling money out of your account right now that you forgot you signed up for? How many small purchases do you make every week that feel harmless? How many times do you choose convenient over smart, easy over effective, now over later? Add them up, I will wait. You cannot, can you? Because you do not track it. You do not want to know, because knowing means you have to face what you have been doing to yourself. And facing it means you have to change. And changing means admitting you were wrong. And nobody wants to admit they have been choosing poverty. But you have every single day, and the system loves you for it. Because here is what nobody tells you about consumer culture. It is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of wealth. Comfort is the thing that keeps you spending just enough to stay exactly where you are, never quite broke, never quite ahead, just stuck, forever. And the beautiful part from the system's perspective is that you think you are making free choices. You think you are in control, you think you are treating yourself, but you are not. You are being harvested, slowly, quietly, perfectly. Let me give you an example that will make this clear. Think about someone who finances a car, not an expensive car, just a normal car, $30,000, 60 months, $400 a month, totally normal, totally reasonable, everyone does it. Except it is not reasonable. It is financial suicide in slow motion. That $400 a month is not $400. It is the future you just sold, because that car is not an asset. It is depreciating the second you drive it off the lot. It is losing value while you pay interest. It is the definition of moving backward while feeling like you are moving forward. But what if you took that same $400 and invested it instead? What if you bought a cheaper car? What if you delayed the upgrade? What if you kept the old one running for 2 more years and put that payment into something that grows instead of shrinks? In 10 years, that is not $48,000. It is over $73,000. In 20 years, it is not $96,000. It is over $230,000. And that is from one decision, one moment where you chose differently, one time you felt the discomfort and did it anyway. But you did not do that. You took the payment. You took the new car smell. You took the approval from people who do not care about your future, and you paid for it with decades. Now here is where this gets worse. You are not just losing the money you spend. You are losing the time it takes to earn it back. You are losing the opportunities you cannot take because you are trapped in payments. You are losing the freedom to walk away from things that do not serve you. You are losing optionality, and optionality is the real currency of wealth. When you live paycheck to paycheck, you do not have options. When you are buried in payments, you do not have leverage. When you are spending everything you earn on things that do not grow, you do not have a future. You have a treadmill, and the treadmill never stops. It just speeds up. And here is the cruelest part. You were taught to live this way. You were taught that this is normal. You were taught that debt is a tool, that spending is patriotic, that you deserve it, that life is short, that you should enjoy now and worry about later when later comes. Later is here, and you are not ready. Because what they did not teach you is that every dollar you spend is a vote for the life you are creating, a vote for the future you are building, and most people are voting for poverty without even reading the ballot. They are voting for lifestyle over wealth, appearance over substance, comfort over freedom, now over later, and they are shocked when later arrives and they have nothing. But it is not their fault, not entirely. Because the system is built to make this feel right. The system rewards spending and punishes saving. The system celebrates debt and mocks frugality. The system makes you feel poor when you have money in the bank and rich when you have things you cannot afford. And the system wins every time because you are playing a game you do not understand with rules nobody explained. Let me show you how the game actually works. The people who control wealth, the people who own assets, the people who make money while they sleep, they understand something you do not. They understand that money is not for spending. Money is for multiplying, and the way you multiply money is by keeping it away from things that do not grow. They do not buy new cars, they buy used cars or they lease strategically. They do not finance furniture, they wait and pay cash or they do not buy it at all. They do not subscribe to 15 services they barely use. They cut ruthlessly, they optimize constantly. They feel pain when money leaves their control. And here is what that pain creates. It creates discipline, it creates awareness. It creates a gap between what they earn and what they spend, and that gap is where wealth lives, that gap is where compounding happens, that gap is where freedom grows. But you do not have a gap, you have a deficit. You spend more than you should, you justify more than you can afford, you prioritize feelings over futures. And every month you close the gap a little more, you make it harder to escape, you build the walls higher. And then you wonder why wealth feels impossible. Let me tell you what is actually happening. You are experiencing something called hedonic adaptation. Every time you upgrade your life, your brain adjusts. The new normal becomes normal. The thing that felt like a luxury last year feels like a necessity this year, and the cycle repeats forever until you are earning twice what you used to and still feeling broke. Because the gap never widens, you just fill it with more expensive things. And the market knows this. The entire consumer economy is built on this. They study you, they test you, they know exactly how to make you feel like you need things you do not need. Know how to create urgency, they know how to trigger envy, they know how to make you feel poor when you are not. And you fall for it every time. Because you think wealth is about how much you make. It is not. Wealth is about how much you keep, and how much what you keep grows, and how long you let it grow before you touch it. But you keep touching it, you keep spending it, you keep choosing today over tomorrow, and tomorrow keeps getting farther away. Now let me show you what happens when you flip this. Let me show you what happens when you start treating every dollar like it matters, when you start asking what this becomes instead of what this costs, when you start feeling pain at waste instead of pleasure at purchase. Everything changes. You stop buying things that do not matter, you stop impressing people who do not care, you stop filling voids with products, you stop mistaking spending for success, and you start building something real. You start seeing your bank account grow, you start seeing your investments compound. You start seeing options appear that did not exist before. You start feeling freedom in places you used to feel trapped. And you start realizing that every small decision you made differently is now worth exponentially more than what you gave up. That coffee you skipped, it is now worth 3 coffees. That car payment you avoided, it is now worth a year of freedom. That subscription you canceled, it is now worth a vacation you did not have to finance. And the gap keeps widening, the compound keeps compounding, the freedom keeps growing, and you start to understand what you were actually giving up all those years. You were giving up this feeling, this security, this control, this future. And you did it for things that did not last. But here is the part that nobody tells you until it is too late. The cost is not just financial. The cost is time, because every year you spend instead of invest is a year you have to work longer. Every payment you take on is a month you cannot quit. Every upgrade you make is a delay on the life you actually want. You are not buying things, you are buying obligations. You are buying time you have to spend earning money to pay for things you already forgot you bought. You are trading your future freedom for present comfort. And comfort is expensive, far more expensive than you realize. Because the real price is not the number on the receipt. The real price is the years you add to your working life, the opportunities you cannot take, the risks you cannot afford, the life you cannot live because you are stuck paying for the life you are pretending to have. And that is the hidden cost, the one nobody calculates, the one that shows up decades later when you are still working and wondering why wealth never came. It came, you just sent it away. One purchase at a time, one justification at a time, one small decision at a time. And now you know. So what do you do with this? Do you panic? Do you feel regret? Do you beat yourself up for all the years you got it wrong? No, you make a different choice starting now. You start seeing money as future freedom instead of present pleasure. You start feeling pain when it leaves instead of joy. You start asking what this becomes instead of what this costs. You start playing the long game, the game the wealthy have been playing all along. And you accept that it will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like sacrifice. It will feel like you are missing out because you are missing out on the trap. You are missing out on the cycle. You are missing out on the slow erosion of your future. And that is exactly what you want to miss. Because on the other side of that discomfort is something most people never reach. Freedom, real freedom, the kind that lets you say no, the kind that lets you walk away, the kind that lets you choose, and choice is the ultimate wealth. But you only get there by giving up the illusion. Illusion that spending makes you happy. The illusion that you deserve it. The illusion that small does not matter. The illusion that later will take care of itself. It will not, you have to take care of it, now today with every decision you make. And the question you have to ask yourself is this: are you willing to feel uncomfortable now so you can feel free later? Or are you going to keep choosing comfort and wondering why freedom never comes? Because it will not come, not unless you build it. One decision at a time, $1 at a time. One moment of saying no to now so you can say yes to later. That is the game, that is the choice, that is the cost nobody tells you about. And now you cannot unsee it.